Today I wanted to talk about all this business of African men in Kenya choosing and preferring foreign women over Kenyan women. It has become a trend that grown men in Kenya today, are chasing foreign women and prizing them and valuing them way above Kenyan women. And we see this as income goes up, as a Kenyan man's income go up, he begins to show a marked preference for foreign women. Now, this is not something new. It's something very old, which is why I wanted to talk about it, because you would think that after all these years of being independent, this sort of mentality would have died out. But we see its reemergence in Kenya, which is shameful, because I think it's the highest manifestation of self-hate. Because when you want to reproduce children who do not look like you, it means you hate yourself and you hate your own mother. So we see this cultural phenomenon of Kenyan men desiring to dilute their genes, desiring to delete themselves, desiring to kill themselves in the next generation. So I remember this incident of this Kenyan guy who married a Japanese woman, and we see this interesting play of the African man loving his enemy so much so that he wants to be one with his enemy, and his enemy, who is the foreign man, hating him and hating him all the more. So in this case, you find this Kenyan man marrying a Japanese woman, and the family of the Japanese woman openly detest him and openly hates him completely, 100%. And so you can see the lack of self-respect, that you're trying to marry people who hate you with everything and with every fiber of their body. They absolutely hate you, but you disrespect yourself so much that you're running to them even when they do not want you. You see this level of self-contempt that Kenyan men display towards themselves, and it's a sign of incredible mental weakness. Only weak people run to love people who hate them and despise them, to the point that you want to produce children who look like your enemy, who openly tells you that they hate you. And so this is a pathetic case of being desperate. I've ever seen those people who force themselves on other people. Someone is not your friend. Someone doesn't want to hang out with you. They never invite you to their parties. They want nothing to do with you, but you're always hanging around them, and they treat you with contempt openly, and you're still smiling at them. That is a sign of incredible inferiority complex, and you expect that behavior in preteens, children who are 12 or 13 years old, who are still learning the ways of life. But not in Kenya. In Kenya, grown men behave like that. Grown men grovel towards foreigners, to be liked by foreigners who despise and detest them. So in this case, you find this Kenyan man forcing himself onto the Japanese. And of course, the girl's family never ever speak to him, ever. And as if that was bad enough, to grovel towards people who despise you, and you think this is bad enough. No. It gets worse, because we're talking about a Kenyan man. So it definitely gets worse. So not only is this Kenyan man groveling to be loved by people who despise him, okay, he also is not a carrier of his culture. You understand what I mean? So a Kenyan man is like water. Kenyan men, like I always say, are very effeminate. Despite anything that you may think, they're very effeminate, and they're not carriers of culture or of anything per se. They're like water. A Kenyan man is like water. And what I mean is this. If you take a glass of water and you drop into the water a pink pigment, the water becomes pink. If you add a blue pigment, the water becomes blue. The water takes any color of anything that is put inside the water. The water never resists. The water doesn't have its own color. It readily absorbs any other color with no resistance. So the Kenyan man, similarly, is not a carrier of culture. So when you open up a Kenyan man, there's nothing inside. It's like water. Because he's not a carrier of culture, he has nothing to present forward. So he will be influenced by anyone at any time. So in this situation, his Japanese woman puts him in a Japanese dress. It is not him who's putting the Japanese woman in his own dress, signifying that he is absorbing this Japanese woman into his culture, because he doesn't have any culture. So it is him, a man, being absorbed into the Japanese culture. In other words, he did not marry, he got married. Do you see how weak Kenyan men are? Weak and mostly spineless and lacking knowledge of self. When you don't know who you are, where you're coming from and where you're going, anyone can influence you. And so we see them posing in their wedding pictures that he proudly puts on social media as if it's a great thing, like it's something that you should be proud. I mean, just think how pathetic that is. So he posts all these pictures on social media, and so we are reacting to the pictures that he posted. And in those pictures, as you can clearly see, he has been put in a Japanese costume. And so you can see the underlying message is that he desires to be Japanese. That's the whole point. That's why he's marrying a Japanese woman. That's why he's wearing Japanese clothes. Because he's trying to escape Africanness and become Japanese. Except the becoming a Japanese project, was stopped when the girl's family rejected him. So it is this same self-hate that we see over and over and over again. And our particular interest in this matter is not, your choice of wife. Not really. The point is this. If you hate yourself, you do not transmit your culture to your children. And if you hate so much yourself, you don't even desire to have children who look like you. It means you're not proud of anything that you yourself do. So if you're quickly running into another culture, that has an economic implication. And our interest is in the economic implication of this kind of behavior. Because if you're wearing Japanese clothes, if enough of you begin to wear Japanese clothes because you're not proud of your own clothes, okay? What that means immediately is that the Japanese who despise you gain a new market for selling their clothes. And because you're not making your own clothes, it means you've lost that job of making your own clothes and you've given up market. So you're getting more and more poor. Do you see how that works? So this is about money. So my interest in this issue is money, not culture, not the emotions of it. Money, cold, hard cash. Who is making money out of this arrangement? Obviously, it's not the Kenyans, it's the Japanese. Now, if there was a movement in Japan of Japanese beginning to wear Kenyan clothes, in quotes, because I don't know what Kenyan clothes are, But let's say there was something called Kenyan clothes, and the Japanese begin to wear Kenyan clothes, and they want authentic Kenyan clothes, which means they begin to buy directly from Kenya. You see, you've gained market. You see, now you're making money. But now this dude is wearing Japanese clothes and is putting all those pictures in social media, and we know how the other Kenyan men are, because they too have the same mental illness of self-hate. So you'll see a trend of grown men wearing Japanese clothes, and because they want authentic Japanese clothes, they'll begin to buy directly from Japan. So the very same people who hate you and despise you will begin to make your money, and we see this pattern repeated in all things. This is the reason why a Kenyan man like this one will not make a Kenyan car. That's why there's no manufacturing basically in Kenya, because it's the same attitude that you hate anything that has to do with you and you love everything that has to do with them. And so despite the fact that they actually hate you and they don't hide it, you give them a lot of your money. When you look at Kenyan roads, look at the number of cars that come from Japan. They are making money. All the while they hate you. They never love you despite the amount of money you send them. But they're making, so your enemy makes your money and you don't make that money because you have no manufacturing sector, because you hate yourself and you want nothing to do with yourself. So you're always seeking avenues to escape yourself. So this man and this picture that we are seeing is the tragedy of Kenya. It's the tragedy of Africa. This is the very same reason why so many Kenyan men live in slums and are very unsuccessful in life, because of these self-hating attitudes. So, I mean, this is so disturbing. Like, you can clearly see in this picture that he's kneeling down in front of a foreign woman. I mean, this is total emasculation. You know, our men are totally emasculated. They don't behave like men. To kneel in front of a woman, and a foreign woman at that, that is a thing that only a slave can do. And he's doing this kneeling willingly, and this is a grown man. Since when, in our traditions, do we kneel in front of women? But here he is, a grown man, kneeling in front of a woman, begging her to accept him into her culture. So this is not an expression of love. This is an expression of weakness, of cultural weakness, political weakness, and military weakness, because the Kenyan man is always on his knees begging some foreigner for something. It's time to stand up. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Kenya's time has come. Our time has come. Your time has come. A time to succeed and not fail. A time to grow wealth and not poverty. A time to go up and not down. It's time for you to stop walking and drive your car. Stop renting and buy yourself a house. It's your time to get blessed. Join the CCV movement, and together let us kick poverty and unemployment out of Kenya. Become a member today. Donate what you can. And remember that the CCV is the only political organization in Kenya that is squarely built upon Christian values, unlike the rest. We'll see you next time. Thank you.